You guys already know what the Amazing Digital Circus is. It's literally the biggest indie animated show on the entire internet, with a fun art style and animation, a colorful cast of iconic characters created by gooseworx and uploaded to Glitch. How could you not know what the Amazing Digital Circus is? As I'm writing this script, the final episode just came out. Well, it came out on theaters first, but unfortunately I'm one of the few people who never saw it in theaters, because I'm too afraid to spend money. So I decided to wait until it came out on YouTube for free. And now that the final episode is out, I went ahead and watched it right away. And after watching the finale, well, you already saw the title. Although the ending was bittersweet, there have been some differing opinions on whether the ending is actually good or not. And I'm not gonna talk about the fan base and some controversy that happened earlier this year, because there's already a great video about it. Should I tell them what the R in R64 stands for? And what the fuck is a Jax toy? I've never heard of this song in my life until I saw some people making jokes about it. Can someone explain to me what it's all about? I'm just here to give my 2 cents on the ending, so let's just get to the point. And just to bring you up to speed, the story of the Amazing Digital Circus is about a human named Pomni, who is trapped inside this virtual world, alongside our colorful cast of characters, Ragatha, Kinger, Zooble, Gangle, Jax, and the wacky eccentric AI running the show, Kane. Kane is the one who creates these fun adventures for our characters, and they have to play along with whatever adventures he has to offer so they can keep themselves busy and not slowly lose their minds while being at risk of abstracting once they officially lose what sanity they have left. Did I just make a run-on sentence? But as the series progresses, Pomni has grown to be less anxious and more compassionate towards others as we get to know them better and their backstories. And as a result, our characters group closer together and are there for each other whenever they need them. Well, except for Jax. I don't think I need to go into more detail about each of the characters. Most of you have already watched all the episodes. And right before the final episode, we left off at Kinger trying to find a way to control Kane so that he would stop torturing them with the adventures they never enjoyed, only for Kinger to accidentally delete him.
I think I accidentally killed Kane.
Holy shit.
Now that you know the basic rundown of the story, let's actually talk about what you clicked on this video for. So just to get a few things out of the way first, remember when I said that the show is about humans being trapped inside this digital circus? Well, it was revealed that the characters aren't really trapped in the digital circus, rather it was a VR headset that scanned the human brains and transferred them into this digital circus, while their real human counterparts are still in the real world, which was something I didn't expect because I generally thought that the characters escaping the digital circus would be the end goal of the entire show. Like, that's what episode 1, 7, and 8 is building up to. Apparently this was a popular theory that I somehow didn't even know about, despite the fact that I was literally unemployed at the time. But I'm kinda glad that Kinger clarified this, because if the show just ended with the humans accepted being trapped inside this digital circus forever, then that would have been a horrible way to end the show, at least in my opinion. So I'm glad their human counterparts are still living their best lives in the real world. And Kane somehow being alive despite Kinger accidentally killing him was confusing to me at first, but I hope that the logical explanation would be that Kane was just put inside the recycling bin, which was how he got transported into the void. Hopefully. I know how computers work. Where the hell did Bubble go? Last time we saw Bubble was at the end of episode 8. And speaking of computers, it was already established that Kinger worked for CNA to create artificial intelligence and created Kane in the process. But after episode 9, I was kinda disappointed that we still didn't learn more about CNA as a company, aside from the fact that they created the brain scanner thing. Actually, I was more interested in why and how the CNA building was was abandoned, and not to mention, how is electricity still running there? So that's why I'm kinda disappointed that we never got to learn more about CNA as a company, and why they were abandoned. But I do understand why the show is more character focused than its world building. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video more. With that out of the way, the rest of the video is just going to be about Jax, since she's kinda the main focus of episode 9. Now, before I talk about Jax as a person, I should probably let you know that it's been confirmed that Jax is trans. But I'm not gonna talk about her being trans, mainly because I don't know anything about the trans experience, even though I have trans friends in real life. So, here's a great video by an actual trans person if you want to check it out. So yeah, I'm only going to be talking about her as a person throughout the 9 episodes. Now, you've seen people talk about whether Jax is truly a good person or not, even before the final episode came out, because before the final episode, Jax was the only person whose backstory we didn't know of, and the only person who never opened up to anyone about her life, especially after all the other characters opened up about their personal lives and traumas. Rewatching 8 episodes confirmed to me that Jax is, and has always been, a narcissistic asshole who enjoys making people suffer for quick laughs, as she puts it.
I'm just a misunderstood little chicken fetus in an egg that needs to be cracked open. Well, I am not. You are my playthings, and I get joy out of making you suffer.
This scene from episode 7 shows that she did have friends at one point, both Ribbit and Kaufmo, and I assume that after they abstracted, she became the asshole we know today. And her justification for treating people like shit with no sign of remorse whatsoever is that everything in the digital circus is not real to her.
You know none of this is real, right? Look, I know what it's like. One day you're somebody in the real world doing important things, and then the next you're just a weird little cartoon jester. You want to hold on to that part of you that still thinks it's part of that world. But in the end, what does it get you? Whether we like it or not, all we are now is a bunch of cartoon characters. So what's the point of pretending we're not?
I always knew that Jax was playing up this fake asshole persona, like how Ria be playing up this fake ass villain persona, and literally tried to kill people just to win $3 million. Because as the series progresses, she never makes an effort to connect with anyone in the circus, especially Pomni, after she makes an effort to connect with her. I always thought that the moment she looked at Ribbit's crossed door, she realized that after spending time with Pomni, she reminded her way too much of her. So that's why, despite enjoying her time with Pomni, she pushed her away and pretended this was all a big elaborate joke.
I was merely entertaining you because I thought it was funny.
If I shoot you right now, are we still gonna be friends afterwards?
We were never friends.
No, we're not doing this. You're not gonna look me in the eye and tell me nothing we've been doing together meant anything to you, because I know that's not true.
And I assume that's because if she got too attached to her, she would feel the same pain from when Ribbit got abstracted. And when it comes to her personal life, she doesn't seem to have anywhere to go back to in the real world.
You got someone waiting for you outside?
Don't you?
Yeah.
Which is why she selfishly pressed the red button to keep everyone trapped in the digital circus. And earlier in that same episode, it almost looks like she was about to abstract. And in the episode before the final episode, she was having a panic attack from the realization that everything she experienced and everything she has done in the circus is real.
Oh my god. This is real.
And it's evident seeing how Jax views everyone as merely cartoon characters, but the moment the crazy one like Kanger starts acting the opposite of what he's supposed to be, her worldview is no longer just a silly cartoon anymore, because at the end of the day, they're still people, even if they're just digital copies of themselves. And that leads us to the final episode, where even after the brain scanner reveal, Jax is still at rock bottom.
Congratulations, Zooble! Guess you still get to leave your mark in the world. Oh, isn't that fun?
Jax.
I guess you still get to hang out with Mommy after all, right, Rags?
Shut up, Jax!
Guess I'm still...
And at the very end, Jax would abstract. Off screen, I think most people already knew that Jax would eventually abstract. I just didn't think she would abstract so abruptly. And you know what? It's kinda working on me. But right before Jax abstracted, she was about to say something to Pomni, but backed out at the very last minute. And given the situation after Kane's accidental deletion, I think she wanted to help her, or maybe at least talk to her about everything that happened in the past 8 episodes, but backed out because she's not ready to face the reality of all of that. Cutting to Pomni entering Jax's abstracted mind. All these doors lead to what I assumed is how Jax would react to each of the other characters being abstracted. One where Jax just chokes Pomni for no reason, dressing up as a maid to make fun of Zooble. I think she was making fun of Zooble being comfortable about their own identity, I'm not sure, and treating Zooble like a Looney Tunes character. All these scenarios, and seeing these multiple versions of Jax, gave me the impression that they're all the worst parts of herself that she created to mask herself, which is why this timid version of Jax is chained up to a piano, and why she was the one to give Pomni the key to this locked door. The locked door that would show us who the real Jax is from her real memories, and all her actions from the past 8 episodes would start to make sense. Jax, like everyone else, was scared upon her first arrival, but it was her newly found friends, mainly Ribbit, who helped her adjust to her new life in the digital circus. You can tell that Jax actually did enjoy being around her friends, and Jax would grow very close to Ribbit. She decided to open up about something very personal to her, and that was the first and last time she ever opened up to anyone. Jax never had a great relationship with her parents, and her dad made her feel like a disappointment, but after her parents divorced, her mom would treat her no better than her dad.
When I showed weakness, I was less of a man than him. When I lashed out, I was just as bad as him. It was confusing. It was like she missed him, but also hated him. And I became the target of all that.
And that is when Jax decided to reveal a personal secret to her mom after having had enough of how awful she treated her.
But she laughed at me. Then she went off on me, and it didn't stop. Personal, degrading insults that felt like it went on forever. And despite all that, the thing that bothered me most was, at the end of all of it, she hugged me. I didn't know what to do.
Conflicted about how she felt, she pushed her mom away, the same way she pushed Pomni away, but only this time, she didn't get up, and didn't know if she killed her or not, so she ran. Her constantly looking at her hand reminded her too much of that day, and the scene where Jax was running away after she thought she killed her mom made that scene from episode 7 a whole lot sense, because again, she had nothing to go back to, regardless of whether her mother survived or not. But still, even after opening up about herself, Ribbit never judged or viewed her negatively. She just accepted her with open arms, and reassured her that her mom is probably fine if the police aren't searching for her. And the moment Ribbit placed her bow onto Jax, she finally felt comfort and acceptance about who she is as a person. And then Kaufmo rings the doorbell, and Jax switches back to her insecure self, likely because she doesn't want anyone to see her with a bow on her head. Who knows what would have happened if Kaufmo never knocked on the door. At this point, Ribbit is the only person who knows Jax's real self, and this scene from episode 8 shows that she's afraid that people would mock her if they knew her real self, hence her skin being peeled off to show her fear of being exposed. So even after Ribbit promises to keep her secret safe, Jax decided to make an effort to avoid Ribbit, gaslight her, and even isolate her from her other friends, all to make sure no one else pries deep into her life, until she abstracted. In short, she basically fumbled the bag there. Okay, in all seriousness, Jax doesn't want anyone to look deep into her because she is afraid that people would mock her, just like how her mother mocked her for coming out. And it was at this point that, after Ribbit's abstraction, Jax went all in on becoming the worst possible version of herself. Even after Kaufmo abstracted, she still went all in on being the funny one.
You're not looking too good. You gonna cry? Looking like this?
And that's how she caused two people to abstract. Such a shame that Kaufmo never learned that he was just a digital copy of his human counterpart. But even after learning her backstory, Jax is still appalled that someone like Pomni would still care about her after all she's done to push people away, even admitting to causing her own demise.
It's too late. I did this to myself. There's no coming back from this.
And at the very last moment, she realizes that she is not ready to go.
I don't want to go.
Also, I genuinely thought Pomni would somehow find a way to pull him out of abstraction, and yet, even after all of that, I still hate Jax. Not Leroy Mateo, just so we're clear. I mean Jax specifically in the digital circus, because I'm still wondering if she deserves to be redeemed or not. Look, it should already be obvious that her mother is an abusive piece of shit, and it was her abusiveness that molded Jax into this horrible person we know today. But I think we can all agree that her trauma does not excuse how horribly she treated other people, because no way am I ever going to defend Jax after all she's done. Everything she did up to episode 9 makes it harder for me to like her as a person, and I honestly don't know if she ever regrets how she treated everyone else, because even after knowing her backstory, she never exactly apologized for treating everyone like shit. It was shown that she did feel some regret about how she treated Ribbit, but pussied out at the very last minute until she abstracted. Like, Jax came out to Ribbit, she accepted her with open arms, and made her feel as comfortable as possible, and she repaid her kindness by being an asshole to her and caused her to abstract to begin with. She had every support she could have, and had every opportunity to confront her demons and change herself for the better. But unlike Leroy Mateo, who managed to find a stable job, friends who accept her for who she is, and is in a better mental state, Jax chose not to do anything about it, and instead let her insecurity get the best of her. As she said, she did this to herself, and it's already too late to change herself now that she's abstracted. And the only thing that can salvage what's left of her is to keep her calm in the darkness. I don't know if I'm supposed to, or if I want to feel bad for Jax, despite her backstory being tragic. So that's why I say the ending of the Amazing Digital Circus is conflicting for me. On the upside, at least Zubul gets to have sex.
I want the ability to have sex.
And that's pretty much all the thoughts I have after watching episode 9. It's crazy to think about how I lived long enough to see the start of Glitch, and then see them grow exponentially after the first episode of Digital Circus, and then 3 years go by fucking fast. The show just ends. Like, bro, I was in college when the pilot came out, and now the show just ended literally 1 month after I graduated from college. And I don't fucking know what to do with my life other than make videos on YouTube. But that does show that even the greatest shows we watch don't last forever. So thank you gooseworx and the crew for making this amazing show, no pun intended, and best of luck to her on her future endeavors. I completely understand why she doesn't want to touch the show anymore. So with that being said, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky, check out my other videos if you're interested, and now would you excuse me? I just watched the first 8 episodes of Hazbin Hotel, and I now understand why people criticize the show.